Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Street News Now, the Noon Report. And I am here, the host, to give you guys the latest update on what I have got to rant and rave about on this week. So, before I get started with my ranting and raving, let me quickly give a shout out to my mentor, Dr. Hunt. Dr. Hunt has been my mentor for 30 plus years. And in those 30 plus years, he has been a blessing to both me and my family. The reason why I talk about my mentor so much and I shout him out on every broadcast is because I want you, the people that are sitting in the cheap seats, paying attention to what's going on, how important it is to have a mentor in your life. Dr. Hunt has helped me with the good times and the bad times and has shown me the wisdom of the way to go on more than one occasion. So if you don't have a mentor, I would encourage you to get a mentor, someone that you can talk to and get information from that can be a blessing to you and your family in your life, and then get a show and shout them out just like I do. So now, moving right along, I want to talk about the hottest news story across the country today, especially in the New York Times. They're talking about the results of the Chicago primary election on yesterday. The results came in very fast. There were, no surprises to a lot of people on what was going on during the election results yesterday. In other words, they didn't come up with no mysterious, oh, we got 1,000 more votes to go before we can declare a winner. So on yesterday, the number one vote getter was Paul Vallis. No surprise there. He had been leading the polls continuously throughout the election. And the number two vote getter was Brandon Johnson. Now, Brandon Johnson has been a Cook County commissioner, and he had pulled in the second highest votes. Now, we all know Lori Lightfoot was the mayor that's sitting in the current seat. She came in third place. Lori came in under 80,000, well, 86,000 votes. So that's not enough to take over the number two spot. So just to give you the percentages, were 33.8% was Paul Vallis, 20.3% was Brandon Johnson. Those two will have a runoff. Lori Lightfoot came in with 17.1%, and then Chewy, the other top front runner, only came in with 13% of the votes throughout the election on yesterday. So we had 9 people in the race, y'all. So there's going to be some winners, there's going to be some losers. So now the race for the runoff will be able to allow the others that were in the race to throw their support behind their favorite to take over the seat. Now, the obvious, elephant in the room, it's a black against white race. Now, one of the things about Paul Vallis is that he has been tagged as a Republican because he has a lot of Republican points in his campaign. More police, more police, more police. No strange that the police union backed him. He also came up with many of his talking points were that of the Republican talking points. He claims to be a Democrat, but it just seems obviously that the Republicans have gotten behind him to help him be the top vote getter in this election. Now, Brandon, of course, has an opportunity to rally those other candidates that were in the race to support him. There were many that said Brandon had a real plan. He had a plan that addressed some of the issues in all of the communities across the city of Chicago. So we'll see in April who wins this election. But right now, it appears it's going to be a black and white thing, a Republican-backed candidate against a Democrat for real. Okay, I'm just going to say it like that. So, if you live in Chicago, please continue to vote. Please make your choice wisely. There are some other things that I want to talk about in politics on today that some people may or may not have known about or keeping up with. The Supreme Court is making a decision against the president and his campaign to try and help poor people with relief for their student loans. The biggest thing is that the Republicans are saying that there's so many people that have successfully paid back their student loans without any problem, but there are those that have been struggling. And I'm just going to throw my 2 cents in there. I think it's unfair that people go to school for 4 to 6 years, even 8 years and 10 years, and they have student loans that stay with them until they're, well into senior citizens, and some people still die owing student loans. So student loans get out of control. The cost of education in the United States has always been outrageous. They're quick to give you these loans because they figure that they're going to be able to make continuous profit off of you. So this student loan relief program is a very positive and good thing for people that are less fortunate. Now, if you got a trust fund and you got great legacies to fall back on, then you can pay off your student loans. You don't need to give a forgiveness for your student loans. But there are those that do, especially, and I'm going to play the race card, people of color, okay, that help build this country, that help build some of these institutions that are overcharging us for education. Give them an opportunity to get a fresh start. Forgive the debt. Let's move forward. Okay. Don't keep the debt going on forever and ever and ever. Some people need a break. Some people need a chance. Some of these people that have gone to school for 6 to 8 to 10 years, they don't even have jobs to go into in their chosen field. So think about that. But of course, the Republicans are like, oh no, we want you to pay back this money. And if you die, get up out your grave and go make some money so you can continue paying us. Give people a break. The people deserve a break. The second highlight today on the popular news today, Ron DeSantis. This guy is staying in the news lately. Okay, we all know that he's campaigning, trying to throw his hat in the national arena so that he can run for president and have people on his side. He actually showed up in the Chicagoland area on the last week or so. And of course, they protested and campaigned, but of course, he had the support of the racist police union. They came out to support him because of the law and order campaign that he stands on. He's traveled or will be traveling soon to Iowa, Nevada, New Hampshire, where he's trying to build up momentum of people knowing who he is. Well, this guy is bad business. He's always been bad business. Everything that he comes up with, is not for the people. It's all about him and getting publicity by any means necessary. Also on last week, he attacked and went after Disney. Now, Disney has been a blessing to the state of Florida for many decades. And now he has taken over operations by legislature that he has written, the complex of the Disney family. So I don't know what he thinks he's going to do by doing this, but people are beginning to think about protesting the state of Florida. Now, I feel sorry for the people that live there because they are not able to stop him and some of the craziness that he is doing, and they have to live with it. Disney hasn't hurt anybody, but yet he is trying to take over something that he actually has no right taking over. Disney has been fine the way it was. And one of the main reasons why he's attacking Disney the way he is because they didn't agree with some policies that he came up with, attacking the gays and the blacks and some of the things that he have said. And Disney came out against him. And he's like, okay, so now they got to suffer for making a righteous opinion against an unrighteous opinion. Ron DeSantis staying on the headlines. Also want to speak about the Republicans in Congress questioned military officials on money sent to Ukraine, signaling concerns over future aid. So the Republicans now are beginning to push back on some of the decisions only because it's President Biden that has made a decision to help this country that is in need. And I spoke about it on last week. $1 billion, really? You know what $1 billion in aid would do for people in the United States? But now the Republicans are speaking up because now they want to object, not because they came up with the idea or didn't come up with the idea, but because President Biden, this is a purely party line discussion. Where everything that he does is right or what they agree with, they're going to disagree with. Anything the Democrats want to do, they're going to definitely disagree with it by any means necessary. You know, it's really crazy. You know, come up with a plan and stick to it. First, they were in favor of it. Now they're not. You know, never know. Biden is trying to jumpstart the semiconductor production in the United States because they're trying to stop all of the semiconductors from coming in this country from China. Okay, China has dominated the market in semiconductors. So the president is trying to create more influx of electronics and semiconductors made in the United States so they don't have to depend on China in case China decides to stop sending stuff that we need here. So interesting. It might be some industrial back and forth with that because we have sent so much of our semiconductor business offshore that we need to begin to bring that back because we need to be able to keep our production going in case China decides to put us on punishment. Plain and simple. Now, I've got a topic that really disturbs me really bad. I ran across this week a story that I picked up off of Jerry Williams' broadcast, Blog Talk, Let's Talk Labor. He has been on my show, on the Ask Dr.Ron show many times. And I follow him. I support his broadcast. And he brought out something that I found that was very disturbing. An Alaskan state lawmaker gets censored for comments about child abuse. Now, this just happened on this week. And if you're not familiar with the story, you're going to hear about it now because it is really disturbing what this lawmaker, this state representative out of Alaska, Representative David Eastman. I want you to remember that name, David Eastman. David Eastman, in a public comment, when they were talking about child abuse, now he's a Republican, I got to put that in there, talking about child abuse, had the audacity to say that every child that is killed or abused to death will save the state money in Medicaid. Now, I know you're scratching your head right now. What? Absolutely. Every child that is killed because of child abuse, that is a child that the state of Alaska will not have to provide care or aid for, and money can be saved because of this child perishing. Yes, he said it. I saw the video. I watched it. I went and looked this guy up. I could not believe that he had the audacity to say such a thing. That this is an opportunity to save some money in the state budget because this child has now been killed by the hand of child abuse. Well, his other colleagues, they went forward and censured him. He's not allowed to talk anymore in public, but just the audacity that he would look at this as an opportunity to save money for his state legislature. Unbelievable. This person is inhumane. And I guess the basis of his conversation is that there would be so many indigenous people in that state that if they die, we can save money. Now, it makes no difference whether they're white, indigenous, because a death of a child is a tragedy that needs to be mourned and addressed and not an opportunity to save money. Okay? It's not an opportunity to save money. Somebody needs to pull this guy to the side and have a conversation with him about humanity. Okay? Now, this is an elected official in the state of Alaska, and he had nerve. They published this comment about his censure on February 23rd. But the statements have been made, the videos are out there. The evidence of him saying this is present. And for his colleagues, one person in the meeting, when he said what he said, they asked him, do you mind repeating that? Because I guess they didn't understand that he would say this, and they wanted to be clear on what he was saying. This is something that is so bizarre that this person should be asked to resign. He should not be allowed to continue serving the state of Alaska. It's criminal. It's criminal to think along those type of lines that we're going to save money if a child is killed because of child abuse. I just want that to marinate. We've got issues in this country, people. There are many people that feel the same way that he feels. There are many people in this country that have issues with indigenous people, with people of color, African Americans, and any opportunity to save money or to cause the United States not to have to put money into their health and well-being, they believe in that. So we need to have a definite prayer moment and ask that this boy get touched by the hand of God so that he can see clearly that he does not know what the people of this country need and or want. They don't need any hatred on this level. So I would encourage you all to go look him up. Once again, his name is Representative David Eastman. Go look him up so you can understand the level of, man, mental illness. That's all I can say. He's got mental illness. When you're thinking about saving money, because if children die at the hand of child abuse, we're going to be able to save some money. Wow, that's deep. Well, there's not much I can say about this other than he has mental illness, and I hope that someone is able to steer him in the right direction, because he is definitely going in the wrong direction. So that's my rant for this week. I hope I've said something that have opened your eyes and opened your ears to hear some of the things that are going on in this country that all of us don't agree with. I'm one that doesn't. So I want to encourage you, if you are interested in becoming a host on this network, on Street News Now, I want to encourage you to go to Street News Now, SNN.com, and fill out a form and let us know. We have people that will get back to you. Administrative staff will get back to you, and they can also help you put your show together and help you be a host on this network that you can blow up. Have a place to be able to put your broadcast. So definitely go over to streetnewsnow.com, get over there and fill out the form, send it in, and someone will get in contact with you to help you put your concept together on Street News Now. So we have plenty of people here that can help you. This has been a Street News Now, the Noon Report. I want to invite you guys to go over and subscribe, like, and share. We do this each and every Wednesday at noon, so you can mark it on your calendar where you want to come over and check this out. Share it with somebody, because it is definitely, a place here where I get to express myself. So please follow me also on my other shows. Go over to my website, ask-dr-ron.com, and it's easy to find what shows that I am on, when, where, and all of the things that are related to what goes on with myself, Dr. Ron. So it is a pleasure. I didn't talk about Lee Michaels today. He is on assignment. He texted me right before the broadcast time and said, hey, he's tied up with a client, will not get a chance to come in and chime in today. But we are always in communication and we stay together. And I know for a fact that he wanted to chime in on that fool in Alaska, because we talked about it off air a couple of times. And I know for a fact that he definitely wanted to chime in on that. Well, maybe we'll get a chance to catch him next week and he can share with us what his opinion about that fool in Alaska. Yeah, I call him a fool. So that's it for this week. Please, you all be careful. Spread the word. It's a beautiful day in Chicago today. Tell somebody that you love them. Keep them encouraged, because that's what we have to do. We have to put love back into the world today. We need to put love back in. And that being said, peace and love. See you guys on next week. Peace.